Yeah. He came in cosplay. This isn't fair.
Yay! Hey everybody, welcome to Prop Live, your weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. We have two people in the studio. Briefly, we have
Jesse from Midnight Armor
and
Ryan Wells.
And they're in town for RenCon,
Yes.
City Comic Con, which is like 10 minutes that way, which is very exciting. And we're going to take some quick questions for you guys over the next, let's say, 45 minutes or so before we have to go be social.
Yeah.
And
Do our jobs.
go work. We got to work.
Work for our...
Do work, son.
You guys just hauled it up here from Portland?
Yeah.
He got me pulled over.
Yeah.
Yes. It's one of apparently it's an issue that I have is when I'm riding in a car with any of my friends.
Yeah.
I get them pulled over.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I have no idea. It's just my curse. So if you get pulled over later tonight, it's
because you watched this.
My
Yeah.
fault.
All right. It's been a very long time since I've been pulled over, so I think we'll be okay.
That's you now.
Yeah. See, I just keep that on my desk, and every once in a while I just heft it.
It's so fitting to
Matches
with
my
my
jacket.
Yeah.
I like it.
Perfect. Cool. So yeah, we're doing Renton City Comic Con all weekend long. There's a costume contest. There's panels. There's I'll have a booth.
Cosplay.
Costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Brought
And
the car with.
yeah, a DeLorean, a time machined DeLorean. Very exciting.
So we'll be able to do this all over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right at the end, we'll just
Right
start
now.
over.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. There's a bunch of panels. Do you guys know which panels you might be on? I'm looking at the
We're
list
doing
right
one
now.
together,
Yeah. Ryan and I are on one together Saturday at like 2.
which will be hungover panel. And
All right.
Yes, we will be hungover and telling you how we arrived at our points and time today.
Apparently, I have a panel tomorrow called "Punish Props: Building Stuff the Right Way."
Little dude.
All right.
I'm hard to hear.
Very cool. And I'm doing that with Corgi, so Eric will be there. And I think we're gonna run into him.
You're
soon.
doing it with corgis. I'm like, awesome. I'm going to that.
That would be better. That would make it better. But mostly that's it. Brittany and I have just been working on our Skyrim armor. We just put out the painting video, the armor painting video today. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. I'm very proud of it. And it was a lot of work. So please go watch that. Please go watch that. For Skyrim, which the special edition comes out tomorrow. So if you haven't already bought Skyrim like 3 times, you can go out and buy it again.
It's Fallout with swords. Right?
It's Fallout with swords. It's exactly what it is. Yes. That's a really good way. Oh, Brittany listed all the panels for us. Britt, you're so good. I just looked at the notes. So yeah, there's one on Friday. Jesse's got one on Saturday. My Journey in Cosplay.
My journey.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then the costume contest and a Halloween dance party apparently on Saturday. And then I've got another one on Sunday.
Yeah, Jesse and I are judging the contest, and I think if you're in the area, I think the cutoff for entering the contest is at noon on Saturday. So if you are coming and stuff like that, bring your best and get in on that.
Right. You know what's funny? I'm not judging the costume contest.
They got 3D printers and stuff for prizes. So
That's pretty good. I should think about entering.
I'm a little angry about judging it. Like, I was like,
we do take
can I
bribes
do
too.
this?
So.
Yeah. Just go ahead and hang on to that there for no good reason.
Oh,
It's a gift, not a bribe. Brittany, the first question is Brittany. She says, "Do our guests want a soda or beer or anything?"
I'm good.
We're all good.
So.
All right, good. Cool. Let's grab some questions here from the old chat. They're very active there. Oh, also, gang, if you're hanging out live and you have any questions you want to send our way, punishprops.com/live is the place to do that. There's a form. Throw a question in there. Let's grab one from Throne Snatcher. I'm in talks to start a small workshop in the Arch shop about cosplay armor 101, and most of it will focus on foamsmithing. Very good, of course. And if you're starting like classes and stuff, and you need a bunch of books for that, let me know.
hey, we might know a guy.
Yeah, sell you a whole bunch of books. I'm referring to that a lot. Let's see here. Which techniques would be crucial to learn initially? So for making armor, what do you think would be a good, you should learn this first?
I mean, you're the foamsmith.
Yeah, but for any costume armor type thing.
Steady hand with a Dremel.
That's good, yeah.
Just dremeling like crazy.
Yep.
Always invest in sharp blades.
That's another really good one.
Safety is first, and having the sharpest blade in And your kit is always the best way
Yes.
to be safe.
I like that. Actually, a question I get a lot when people ask specifically like about a Dremel or whatever is how you get edges and seams to look so clean. A lot of times that's just like if you practice a lot with the tools, then you'll get good at making the tool do the thing you want it to do. So practice, and then I think making patterns is going to be something that you're
patterning things. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's something where you need a lot of repetition to really understand.
There's also a lot online as far as pre-patterned stuff that you can start with too if you're doing practice work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, foam is a great starter. With the bigger costumes and stuff that I did, I started off with foam, and then I went the stupid way and started covering everything in Workable. But yeah, foam is a great starter.
Oh, absolutely. He's also curious about. Oh, he's asking about pricing for a afternoon class. I don't really know. What the charge?
Yeah, go to con. They got tons of panels.
Let's see here.
Come to RenCon.
Cool. Yeah, I did a panel in New York City at Construct, which they're doing again in 2017 in May. I'll have to ask what she charged, but it was like you would go to a workshop that was a couple hours long. You would get all the tools you needed, all the materials, and that was all included in the price. Mm-hmm. And you could leave. You get to keep the tools, which I think is awesome. I don't know. I can't remember how much they might have charged for that, but it was a small group. It was like 15 people. It might have been, I don't know, $100 a head.
Yeah, a lot of these cons are doing workshops now on various materials that you can get involved, not only learn, but take home a product as well as the knowledge. So look up your local cons and then find out these things beforehand, because usually these kind of workshops that we're talking about is a little bit off the side from the con and an extra fee that you have to sign up before a certain time or before the class fills up, and so you want to make sure that you're getting in on that and not waiting until you get to the con and find out that you missed out or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to do I do leather panels at con. That sounds really weird.
Yeah, awesome. What cons are you going to?
That sounds real weird. No, I do make and take leather classes at a lot of the cons that I go to, but that's usually required pre-sign up, so I bring them, enough material and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good question from Throne Snatcher. Britt put a note for the guest to be louder. I just turned everything up, so we should be okay. Corium9 says, while there are rules and procedures for good reason, how about some instances where you deviated from established methods? The example he gives is a while back, Harrison built a shield, painted something, and the paint reacted violently, and it got all craggly, and he just kind of rolled with it. As an example, I don't know. It's
happy mistakes. You're talking
yeah,
about
I guess
Ross
so.
Thing?
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of Bob Ross on Twitch.
Yeah. I know personal experience. My first time I ever worked with Workable, I learned the hard way about air bubbles, and with that project, fixing them, I went to my next project, which was the arachnid bug, and I used those air bubbles to my advantage by manipulating them and making textures for the different parts of the creature. So
were you able to just like overheat the Warbler and it made bubbles?
EVA is an open cell, and the air has to go somewhere when you trap that, and so it goes up, and usually you can take a pen and blend it out and reseal that up. But I just kept going on with the heat and making those air bubbles and making the veins and the different textures to my advantage of that. So my sculpting was done a lot easier just by learning about these horrible things that made my first project horrible, but worked to my advantage on the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there's. I try to learn from all my mistakes when I do stuff like that, and just try to. It may be a process that you get to use in the future, exactly like Vulpin's paint problem or whatever else. I've done that a few times where I figured out how to purposely screw up paint or how to use a spray can in a different manner, and then that does adds weird texture to this paint. Like, cool, I'll use that on this next project or this other idea. So
yeah, anytime, I can't think of a good example of that, but anytime you get something you're not expecting, like make a note of that.
Yeah.
Like take pictures of it, write it down, because I know I can think of instances where I'm like, that's not what I wanted, but that's kind of cool.
That's kind of all right.
I want to bank that away for when it might be useful in the future. take lots of notes.
Yes.
And photos. Let's see here. Good question there. Mayday has a question. I need assistance. My breastplate doesn't want to make the boob cups my size. Heating and shaping doesn't want to go. It's not a uniboob. It's a seamless top. How can I fix this? Using foam. Half-inch thick foam. That's really thick foam.
That is really thick foam.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go find an article.
Yeah.
On that David did a long time ago. EvilFX. EvilFX. He did it was almost like vacuforming EVA.
Yeah.
But it was bioweapons. That's right. Bioweapons.wordpress.com.
Awesome.
Dave's old blog. Oh, it's great. He hasn't updated it in a long time. But it was basically like it's gonna take me a moment to find this. Mass Effect. It was Mass Effect armor and 7 build female update 1 maybe. But he made really good looking boob cups.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That
maybe it
great.
was like update number 2. Nope, that's not it. Update number 2 again. He has 2 number 2s.
The other number 2.
It's tricky. Like with EVA, it's tricky to get it to stretch into a compound form. Usually, I'll put darts in it, or I'll try and cut the seams to get the complex forms that I want. But here it is. I found it. There it is.
Oh yeah. I've seen this one.
All right. So I'm gonna put a link in the chat there.
There you go.
So he found these bowls that are like the perfect size and shape. And he made a template out of thick plastic and lined everything up so that he could heat up a sheet of EVA foam and then press it down on there to get the shape that he wanted. So it's almost like vacuforming. That's the way I would do it.
Ryan and I have vacuformed EVA foam.
Yep.
Yeah, the Baymax.
Yeah.
We did that with a salad bowl, and we made ducks out of duct tape.
Duct tape, yeah.
Yeah.
Just took some extra pieces that we had laying around and made it with the adding the pieces onto the bowl with duct tape. And for EVA, it held up pretty darn well.
Yeah, I think we got 2 or 3 pulls out of it before the duct tape got too hot.
Yeah, it's probably all you needed.
We forgot that the first time, so the release on it, remember? That was stuck.
So, like a talc powder or something like that?
We had that spray.
I have Stoner mold release.
Okay, yeah.
I use that on a lot of vacuforming projects.
It is easy to forget when you're vacuforming how hot the surface of the buck is going to be.
Yeah.
Because I have vacuformed 3D printed pieces out of PLA, and PLA melts at like not a lot of temperature compared to what you're putting it through.
Yeah.
And just obliterated the thing underneath it.
Oops.
So that's a good thing to remember. Rev Chumley in the chat just put a link to a video. Let's see if I can actually play this.
Sweet.
He did it. He did it on his live stream. Let's go over there. Mass Effect armor boobies. It's like an hour and a half long. But
geez.
He definitely there's his goofy thing.
Yeah, sure enough.
And his cat. So, Dave's made a...
PLA will melt if you look at it funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has made a lot of Mass Effect armor. So he had that thing, and for whenever he needed female armor, he would just bloop,
That's awesome.
Crank out a booby panel. Okay, hopefully we've answered your question, Mayday. Good luck. Lee here has a question. Would a quarter-inch or a quarter sheet sander with some 400 grit on there be a good way to get rid of some of the fuzzies left over sanding EVA foam with a lower grit? And then heat sealing. I guess he's talking about it like a palm sander. I've never really used like a palm sander on EVA. Sanding, I know Evil Ted likes his sanding sticks.
Yeah.
And he'll go up through the grits to kind of really... I don't do that. I just use a stone bit on my Dremel.
Okay.
And it almost polishes it.
Yeah, it does. Well, it heats it up at the same time, too. I use a belt sander that I flip upside down and make a table sander.
Yeah.
I was like, I have my table sander, and I just run things across that.
I'm not that lucky.
You could get... Actually, when Will was still here, we had 2 belt sanders. Ooh. So we put a 100 grit on mine and a 220 on his. So we had options. Nice. And the 220 in the belt sander was a really nice way to clean up foam.
Awesome.
So, belt sander, I think with foam, having a reciprocating motion doesn't really get as much, remove as much material as like a belt.
Back and forth versus ripping it.
Yeah, if you put it in a belt sander, that'll real nice. Or the spinning rotary tool there.
Or a real table sander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that person said pretty much the same thing.
For a long time, I still have my handheld belt sander, and I would do the same thing. I'd flip it upside down in a vise. Yeah. And the great thing about those is they're super easy to swap the material or the actually, I should do that. I should put the 220 on that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
There we go. Hopefully that helped you out there, Lee. Let's grab some more. And we only have a couple more questions left. If you guys in the chat have any questions for us, feel free to send them in. punishprops.com/live. Sort of playing fast and loose today. Let's see here. This person's name is I Did It All for Tanuki. I'm attempting to make a head from the character Lemon Grab from Adventure Time. I don't know Lemon Grab. I'm gonna look it up.
Heads.
I didn't ever see.
I've been stuck in an elevator with a couple of those guys.
Okay, I am familiar with this, although I am very ashamed to say I never watched Adventure Time. This guy. Okay, that's who we're talking about. Making a head. Got it. It's essentially a large lemon shape that will go over my head using the mouth hole for sight. I'm having trouble patterning out large 3D lemon shape to be made out of EVA foam. Any tips? Well, you make giant things. Yeah. Usually go over your head.
Patterning it out, you can start with some old Christmas or birthday paper, or even the dollar stores sell the brown paper for like mailing and stuff. That's what I use for patterning. Most of the times I make mascot heads though. I'm using upholstery foam. There's 100 ways to do it, and they're all right. But I would think to do upholstery foam, you're going to get a lot better curves and be able to manipulate it a lot better than something as rigid as EVA foam. And then go back over that with some latex to give it that lemon zest. But that's how I would tackle it. But as far as patterning out EVA foam, just using the brown paper and making the patterns and looking up online, sort of like taking like a football pattern shape and kind of doing that and
manipulating it a little bit.
You could even just take apart a football.
Yeah, there's also a way where you can just take a lemon.
Just make it bigger,
Take a lemon and put masking tape all over it and draw your pattern in that and put it on a projector if you got one of those and throw it up on the wall. And then
yes.
That's how Stan Winston would do it.
That is right. That's how Frank did his. It was like the one Frank had was like it was like a kid version. It was like the Projector Junior.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I have a mini projector that I use for my panels. It was like around $100.
That's adorable.
Oh, there you go.
This is literally the one that Frank uses.
How much is that?
$45. I don't know if they're like you can get.
If it works, it works.
There are plenty of other ones here. This one's $30, even better.
You can there's Pizza Hut boxes that project your phone onto the screen.
Yeah.
With just like a magnifying glass or something. There's probably tutorials on how to make one out of a shoebox and a lens.
Awesome. We'll link to that in the show notes. Also, Evil Ted did a patterning large costumes tutorial. We'll link to that. He did that with Holly, and they did upholstery foam. So he used a projector, and they made this giant bean-shaped
there you go. That's exactly
thing. So we'll put links to all of those in the. I'm gonna link them in the chat for you guys, but I'll also put it in the show notes.
There's registration marks and everything on that phone.
Of course,
exactly how you go about it.
That's how Ted rolls.
Yeah, Ted's the man.
Oops, there. Hopefully I didn't ruin that URL. There you go. Good luck, everyone. I gotta get one of those projectors. At some point, I'm gonna make something gigantic, and I'll need it.
You gotta get the really kid-colored one, though. You can't.
Yeah,
don't
the
skip
junior.
Out and get the white
no.
one. Get the real junior-looking one.
That one's not. It's not commercially available. You can buy it used.
Oh.
You can buy it used. But the Tracer Projector Junior. Awesome. All right, let's keep going here. Thank you. I did it all for Tanuki. Let's see. Korumi.
That's good.
You put it phonetically too, so I'm gonna try. Komori no Hime. Cosplay. Got it. I've been thinking about putting some small patterns for accessories up for sale on my shop and earn $1 here and there, but I'm hesitant because of copyright. Have you ever gotten a C&D for your blueprints? Never for blueprints. I've never gotten a C&D. I've never heard of anyone else getting C&Ds for blueprints.
Not for blueprints.
Right. I haven't put any new ones up in a long time. Whenever I do, like I did Raise Blaster, I just gave that away.
Yeah.
So just as a personal, I don't know. If I really had a strong opinion about it, I'd take my old blueprints down, but I don't. Just going forward, every new blueprint that I've made that's like copyrighted, I've just given away. But I've never heard anyone getting a C&D, so if you want to roll the dice on that, go for it. I don't see a problem with any of that. Yeah. Yeah. we did example. I mean, it was part of the deal, but we did the armor we're making from Skyrim. Part of the deal was we make blueprints so that people watching can follow along at home, and we wanted the barrier to entry be as low as possible. Right. So we gave them away for free. And I'm okay with that. I don't need to make money on the blueprints as long as people watch and share the video. We have a new video out, by the way. I'm very proud of it. It was a lot of work. Venger in the chat is curious if a blueprint would fall under fan art. It might. There's a lot of... When it comes to like fan art, there's a lot of gray area there. A lot of times it really depends on how much the IP owners want to pursue it. Or not.
I think it really depends on, truthfully, how much money you're making off of it and
how
big it gets.
Yeah.
So if you start exploding on something and get really big, they're probably going to be like, hey, by the way, you need to pay up for that or we'll shut that down.
Let's see here. Shane says, I've added real rust to my most recent prop, and I was curious what would be the best method to seal it. There are lots of ways to seal it.
Clear plastic. I would not use clear
plastic. I
plastic.
wouldn't do. I haven't had very good experiences with clear plastic anyway for most stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't. In my experience, it hasn't adhered well. So like it was on a handle and it just peeled off.
One of the best tools that I use for weathering and in between steps is they make this. They make this spray that you can use that a lot of drawing people, people that do sketching, will use, and especially for like left-handers. You spray it over your graphite sketches or anything else like that, and it like creates a very fine film across it. So it's like matte based. It's almost like a clear coat. Mm-hmm. But it's totally safe to the touch, and it doesn't screw up your paint or anything else like that. So
and then your arm isn't going to smear it?
Yeah, then your arm's not going to smear everything out. And I found out that I use that on a lot of my props in between steps where I'm weathering things in to keep things from blending together.
What's it called?
Yeah, let me Google it. I'll figure it out. Hang on.
Art drawing spray. Spray.
Yeah. What's it called? I don't
charcoal?
know. Yeah, for like charcoal, it's you find it. You find it like a Michaels or any craft store.
Like this Spectrafix?
No, it actually
looks pastel fixative.
Yeah, it's something close to that. It's a matte spray or something.
Graphite fixative, maybe.
It's like that
Workable fixative.
Yeah,
is that it?
That is it.
There we go.
Just that.
Good job.
Thank you,
everybody.
Woohoo!
Fixatif.
Yes.
Of course.
There's a couple different versions of this stuff, and I've used a few of them, and I don't really notice too much of a difference. But it doesn't really, alter the next level of like paint that you're gonna put on.
What about if you're doing like on a chrome or metallic surfaces? I know with enamels,
I haven't tried it on a chrome surface.
Yeah. But rust isn't shiny.
Right.
Yeah, and you really do want to seal it so that you're not constantly gripping something rusty all day. Brittany, I believe she just used varnish on hers, but Brittany made something like that. Yeah. We use varnish for a lot of our props just because it dries so fast and it's really flexible.
Yeah, that stuff's super quick too.
Mm-hmm. It dries stupid fast. Yeah. It's one of my favorite. favorite things. But this one's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my wish list on Amazon.
And for
this is coming up.
Well, yeah, and for an aerosol, it's really not terrible to use inside. If you're working somewhere, it says distinctly not to in there, but it's not horrible. Like, yeah, safety third. Looking cool is like number one.
Yeah. Right after comfort, right?
Right. Yeah.
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 Cool. Yeah. There's a bunch of different ones. This one's $32. It must be better. Awesome. Cool. Well, I learned something today. Let's grab another question. Thank you, Shane. Next one's from Thrill Builds. Curious, Ryan, what you were going to build next, and where do you store all of your large costumes?
I have a bat cave.
A bat cave.
I actually rent out a storage unit, and I also sell them off to fund further projects. So before I'm able to allow myself to build the crazy ones, I have to get rid of the previous crazy one. Right now, I'm doing a couple projects, not personal ones, that I can't talk about. But as far as personal projects, I did start one a little while back. It's a dozer from Fraggle Rock, and then also working on Conky 2000 from Pee Wee's Playhouse. But I have a couple other ideas. But right now, it's kind of slow time for the cons, so it's allowing me to catch up on projects to fund my life. For other people. But yeah, I think starting next year and a couple of months before con season, I'll start to pick back up my personal projects. Yeah, those guys.
I can't wait to see one.
I'm very excited about that. That's great.
And they're coming back out with those guys.
Oh my goodness.
With the show, so it'll be relevant once again.
I do like. You know what? I really ought to adopt your technique where you sell one costume before you make another one, because we are rapidly running out of room around here.
I do regret it though. Like once in a while, I'm just like, I wish I still had that one.
I did. I actually a long time ago I sold my Dragon Age costume, and I don't really regret it, but I do think I will build it again. And it'll be better.
See, that's the thing is like, there's always like people going for the 2.0, and by the time I'm done a costume, I've already built that like 50 times in my head before I physically have it, and I'm so sick of it before I even put it on the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know where this. And then like months later, I'm just like, I should have kept that.
Yeah. Corgi wants to know who has the most luxurious beard. I don't know.
Jesse.
Yeah, he's got.
Well, he's a pirate, so
it's true.
It's necessary.
I mean, if we're going for length, then yeah.
Ocean weather.
Ryan wants to know, any tips for someone who has all the materials to start but need guidance on where to start when it comes to practicing? I would build something small, not small, but like do a helmet or something. Yeah. A project that you can finish in a day or two, where once it's done, it's finished. I wouldn't start with like a shoe or... Because that way, if you only finish the helmet, then at least you have that.
At least you have a helmet.
No one's putting a shoe on the shelf.
Oh, you're supposed to put shoes on the shelf?
I mean, only the shoe.
If you weren't raised right.
Yeah. I don't. You'll notice I have a helmet over there. I mean, I have the whole costume of that.
I'm gonna go fix something in my shop.
Yeah. You're gonna build just like the left leg of a whole suit of armor and then put that up on the wall. There. Yeah.
It was a major award.
Any tips for people though who just want something to practice on?
Definitely just find something that you're inspired by. Find something silly that you want to build, or just a small prop that you want. Just start practicing. I mean, build for the sake of building.
Yeah, that's the key word, is inspired. I mean, if you don't have a love for something, your motivation's not going to be there to learn. And so you might have a project that you want to do and tackle, but to start on a smaller scale, such as I did Rocket Raccoon, and I'd never worked with animal fur or making the teeth look real or whatever. And so I just built a stupid polar bear hat from Adventure Time, actually, but I wanted the realistic version of if it was actually a real person. And so I was able to work with gums and teeth and do all these things with the eyes and stuff like that. And I put that into a bigger and more expensive cosplay, but I was able to practice with some scraps and do something small. So it was because I had the epiphany of wanting to do something that I cared about, which is going to be your first motivation to keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if it's, like build greeblies for things, accessories for weapons, or You start learning.
Etsy.
Yeah.
Open Etsy and get inspired.
Do an Etsy shop of my practice props.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
MyPracticeProps.com. I have a website like that. It's called punishprops.com.
But they're not practice.
No, it's called rockbottomprops.com.
There you go.
Yeah, which still actually
I've not received my puff paint shirt in the mail. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. You have to make it yourself.
Oh, damn.
Rockbottomprops.com.
I love the music.
It's so good.
And the Keyblade, our desperation is your Keyblade to success.
That's awesome.
And you can mute it. Awesome.
No, don't mute it.
Okay. No, I can't stand it. Actually, speaking of our website too, I will point out real quick that we have right on the front page a link to new to prop and costume making, and there's a bunch of really good tips to get you started. Lots of free stuff too. Especially a couple of projects like the Destiny Hunter knife video that we have. That's a really great place to start because
that knife is stupid awesome to have.
And I think it might be hiding back there. I don't know. I think the Ultimaker's covering it, but yeah, it's a really easy project with not a lot of materials and free templates and everything. So, a couple good places to start. That question was from Ryan. Good luck, Ryan. Glad to hear you got all this stuff. You have no excuses. Get started. All right, Jonathan. He's doing Zero's helmet from Borderlands, the Disharmony helmet. Not really sure which one that is, but we can Google that. He's having trouble with the lens.
Vacuform it.
This is.
Oh.
I don't know which one is the right one because the Google search came up with a bunch of different.
Yeah, because Zero's is that. I mean. I don't know what his specific model is, but that giant lens is the
or the visor, yeah. Let's see here. So Zero is the one on the left here. I mean, the best way to make visors like that is through vacuforming. That's just how visors get made. And if you want it to look exactly like that, you're gonna have to
yeah. It's gonna take a while.
It's gonna take a while. There's a lot you can do. You could peppercora it and then fiberglass it and then backfill it with something and then vacuform it. But you're gonna need a vacuform. You're gonna need a fairly big one to make that.
But they're not intimidating and they're super easy to make.
Yeah, they are.
Everybody should own one.
Yes.
Be friends with somebody.
Yeah,
or be friends with somebody that has a big one.
Yeah. Actually, our buddy Mario built one. He lived in Federal Way, and then he moved to California. I was like, damn it. That was really great. He had one that was like 2 feet by 3 feet, like a big one. Then he moved away.
Well, you have a little one, right?
I have a little one, yeah. But vacuforming is the way to go. Don't feel too intimidated to get into it.
I think that's a vacuformed one on the second down on the left. It's clear. No, next one down.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of.
Yeah, you can see it wasn't trimmed yet. This guy right here. Yeah. Yeah, and that is our friends at Cosplay for Us All. Hooray! They've made a whole bunch of these. I guess they're not making them right now.
I guess not.
But they have made a whole bunch of them. They probably have some videos. If we find any videos that they did on that, we'll add them to the show notes. But they made a bunch of those. And they made them with their vacuform. All right, let's keep going here. Just a couple more. And that Spidey Society has a question. And Jonathan was curious if a heat gun and a thin piece of plexiglass would work. You're going to have a really hard time getting a uniform heat on a big sheet of plastic without, like, heating elements. Trust me, I have tried.
And one of the other... Yeah, I was going to say, one of the other things that most people do is use an oven. Don't use don't use your main oven. Like, if you're going to do this, be careful about what thermoplastics you use. Clear is a harder one to get a non-toxic thermoplastic in. You can't just go buy a light panel out of Home Depot or something and then throw that in your oven in your kitchen and then expect your kitchen not to smell horrible.
And on a side note, if anybody's questioning the transparent Warbler that's out there, not very clear as well as not very rigid at all. It's almost like a thick vinyl. Yeah. I know when I built armor with that, it's got to be double layered just to hold anything. So not a visor material.
The more you work with it, the less transparent it is.
Yeah, and it starts off pretty bad to begin with.
And with like if you're gonna vacuum form PETG, you get one time you do one pull, and then good to go. And if the pull doesn't come out great, then you just usually throw it away and try it again. Yeah. Any attempt after it's been pulled to like heat up little spots and like fix it, very limited success. And the more you mess with it, the less transparent it becomes. All right, let's keep going here. That Spidey Society. How long have you been crafting for, and what inspired you to do so? Cool, we'll go around the table. Ryan.
I've been doing it for a little over 3 years, and I'm the world's worst geek. I don't play video games. I don't read or watch anime or any comic books even, but I do know movies. I started off by building a DeLorean time machine and finding out about these Comic Cons that Christopher Lloyd was going to go to, and I was told that when you go to these cons that you're supposed to dress up, which we all know is not true, but I did the only thing that a white fat man can do, and I went as Silent Bob with a trench coat. I had a blast, learned about this whole new community, and that was the first time we met. And I learned about this whole community, and so I started making costumes and cosplay and got into it, and I haven't been able to stop since.
Very cool. I like to think like that you just talked to the right person, and that person told you, "Oh, if you're going, you have to dress up," and you're like, "Oh, obviously, yeah."
Well, you watch it on TV. Like.
Yeah, and you get there, and they're like maybe 5% of the people dressed up, and you're like, "I've been lied to." All right, where'd you get started?
I don't know, man.
Ren fairs?
It's fuzzy. Like I started building stuff for like Halloween and putting on like haunted houses as a kid and all sorts of crazy stuff, and I've just been interested in building stuff ever since. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And RenCon started, Ren Fair started coming up, and I started doing stuff like that. And was in theater as in high school, and just kept going to the tech side and built costumes. And then I got on a silly TV show after going to costume contests and stuff like that.
For you, it's been a lifelong pursuit.
Yeah.
So, did you grow up near Portland? Like, have you lived there most of the time?
Yeah.
Is there a good Ren Fair around there?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's starting
Shots
now.
fired.
No, starting now. There's been a few in the last couple of years, but there hasn't been a real like big Ren Fair, like actual fair or anything like no Shrewsbury or anything like that. That's been going on in Portland. So.
Yeah, I was spoiled growing up. We had a really good Ren Fair in New York near where I lived. And I didn't like it has permanent structures. They're there year round. Like it's incredible. I just assumed all Ren fairs were like that.
Yeah,
it's incredible. They're not.
There and there are tents in the woods.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Chin brought me back to one of theirs in Maryland that's been going on forever. The Maryland Ren Fair.
In fact,
it was incredible.
In fact, Chin knows people that I know from the Renaissance Fair because a lot of them traveled up between Maryland and New York. Yeah. We found it when we were in Vegas last. Yeah. We found out my buddy who did the Ren Fair in Sterling, and weird how paths cross. Yeah. I've been making stuff my whole life, but I got into cosplay in 2009. My friends and I dressed up for PAX actually here in Seattle.
You guys have actual dates for this?
I do. I went back and I listed every con I went to. I haven't updated it in the last 6 months.
I have to do that for a resume.
Yeah. I just wanted to know. I think the first where it really started was actually Tacoma Tall Ships.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't have anything. I showed up with a white button-up shirt, like a formal dress shirt, and I bought a pirate hat. And I got a red handkerchief. And I was like, I'm a pirate now. And that was, I think that was like 2007 when I did that. I think that's when it all started. Cool. Let's grab one or two more here. Tempest wants to know, he's working on a Spartan helmet from Halo. After bondoing the exterior, I have a hard time reviving some of the sharper angles. So he basically lost a lot of the definition with the Bondo. Any suggestions or tips? What you got?
What kind of Bondo are you using is the real question.
Yeah.
The Bondo Gold series or any of the Platinum or Gold series will give you a better finish, and it will be a lot finer. It'll also sand a lot easier, so you can get cleaner edges and cleaner corners without having to do a a lot of very heavy sanding, and that's where most people lose a lot of edges because they're sitting there with a mouse sander or something else like that, and they start dragging stuff over the edges. But using a finer, premium or platinum Bondo will work better for redefining edges.
Yeah, we've been using Evercoats, just their normal stuff, but they have some other nicer things too. But it's a similar thing. And then needle files, just like little files for doing tiny detail stuff. That's my trick, is lots and lots of hours with a needle file. Yeah, cool. And then, Brittany pointed out too, our buddy Steven has a book on using Bondo.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. A Robot's Guide to Bondo by Steven Meisner.
Ooh.
And it's $5 and it's worth checking out. He likes the Evercoat Rage Gold.
Yes.
The one he likes a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it is amazing too when you spend a couple extra bucks on the next best material. Like, wow, this is way better than using Bondo, which is really used just to fill in large areas on a car.
Yeah. It really, that couple extra dollars really makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. Also, when it's still green, it's still kind of pliable, you can use an X-Acto to cut and trim away your body filler while it's still curing. Cool. Let's grab one more from Nick, and we'll call it good. Nick, who I imagine we will be seeing at BlizzCon, he says, what techniques do you use for turning the patterns you work with into something other people can use? Like turning them into digital files. I do. It's a highly technical process. I use my cutting mat because it's got a grid on it. And I put my pattern on that, and then I hold my cell phone very carefully over it, and I take a picture of it, and then I trace it at Inkscape.
Oh, there you go.
I wish I had like a giant flatbed scanner, but the cell phone works. You guys don't do much with patterning stuff? No,
I'm a jerk. I make patterns out of like paper and stuff like that, and I usually just keep them in a file and sit in a desk drawer.
Yeah, but they're for you to use.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I will say though, the Skyrim armor that we're doing, I don't think I've ever made a full set of armor and then made the patterns for other people, and that extra step takes such a crazy amount more time. I just never do it, and so I keep patterns for myself until my drawer of patterns is full, and then I take the one I don't like the most and I throw that away. But it is like digitizing your patterns is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So that's why I tend to not do it. I usually just chuck them. Let's see. That's it. Cool. Thank you everyone for your wonderful questions, and thank you guys for swinging by.
Of course.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Cool. Nick is in the chat. He says, I expect something magical. Well, I hope you bring the magic, Nick, because I'm not building a new costume. So, you guys, midnightarmor.com, that's where all of... It's your website, Woo! Jesse.
That's my landing page, basically.
It's your landing page.
It's not really a good website. It's just kind of...
Links to Twitter and Facebook,
links to Twitter and Facebooks and that sort of stuff. That's kind of where everything's going on.
Awesome. And then, Ryan... You're mostly all up on your Facebook page?
Yeah, I'm an IT idiot. I just use Facebook.
That's cool. So, obviously, everyone go over there, check them out, give them a like, check out what they're all about. The cosplay of Ryan Wells. Very, very good. And we'll see. We'll all be hanging out at RenCon this weekend. So, if you're in the area, come swing by. Come say hi. And I hope you get to hang out. Thanks for showing up.
Ask more questions.
Yeah.
Love panels. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. We're going to head out of here. Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.